Hi YouTube! Welcome back to my random thoughts on Thursdays. This week I want to be serious and talk a little bit about people with depression. So in light of what the recent tragic events with Robin Williams, I've wanted to talk about depression in general and some of my thoughts and my experiences. Personally, I don't have clinical depression, although I have had bouts with what some people would refer to as situational depression, where I will be in a situation that drags on too long and I end up with symptoms of depression, where I'm sad, I'm unmotivated, I have symptoms of depression, but they tend to go away on their own. They don't require medication or therapy or anything, even though I did go to therapy for a year once just to kind of get through one situation that I needed to get through, and I might address that in a bit. But I also have known people in my life who have suffered from various mental illnesses. Now, my mom definitely had a mental illness, whether it was straight up depression or if it was bipolar or what. She went undiagnosed, but she definitely was suffering in some way. I mean, I lived through several of her suicide attempts, whether or not they were unsuccessful because she wanted attention, or they were unsuccessful because she just didn't do them properly. Regardless, she kept trying to kill herself. And while I was never close with her, I was an unwanted pregnancy. She and I clashed a lot. We were just never close. She kind of basically handed me off to my grandparents to raise and everything. And I know my grandmother also suffered from some type of depression. She was also semi-suicidal, but she never went through with attempting. She thought about it a lot, though, and things. And so I know I could never understand the depths of torment that someone with that level of depression has, where they are driven to a point where they don't see the point in living anymore and they decide to end it. And I won't go into much detail, but my husband also suffers from this, and his is managed, it's under control. But this whole situation, this whole tragic event with Robin Williams, I mean, someone who was that level of successful in his life, and that wasn't enough to quell whatever demons he was struggling with. Kind of hits home for me that I'm keeping a closer eye on my husband and making sure his mood stays positive, or as positive as possible for someone with that kind of a condition. But it worries me, because, like, what would I do if he decided to leave this life, so to speak? And I can't, I mean, I know he suffers, he doesn't always show it. He hides it a lot. He's had to learn to hide it because people in life don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear, your struggles, your pain, your whatever. People, like when people say, "Hey, how you doing?" Automatic knee-jerk responses, "I'm fine," because when I was younger, I would tell people how I was doing, and I learned people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear your struggles because, well, to be perfectly honest, they're probably going through some of their own. Everyone struggles in some way in life. Even if you don't have depression, you have had at least one challenge or struggle or something in life. I mean, I can't imagine anyone who hasn't had some hurdle or challenge or something to get through in their life by the time, you know, they hit adulthood, much less through adulthood and everything else and stuff. And I know it's not easy. I mean, while I don't have clinical depression, I mean, I've dealt with bullying. I've dealt with, you know, almost complete financial ruin a couple of times where I got myself into way too much debt, credit card wise. In fact, I have a video. If you just search Kleineganz and debt, you can probably find my video about that, where I talk about how, like, first of all, how I got myself into that level of debt, and then how I got myself out of it, and things. And I've struggled with things like after my grandmother passed away. I was so busy with school and work and everything else, I never took the time to grieve, and that was where I ultimately ended up in therapy, because I just stopped functioning emotionally and everything else, and I had no motivation to do anything in my life. And, you know, my therapist is the one who walked me through it and made me realize that I'd never properly grieved when my grandmother passed away. And she was like one of the closest people, she was the closest person in my life. She knew me, that she was my best friend. She understood me in ways that, you know, other than my husband, no one ever has and no one ever will. I've never made friends very easily. I mean, I have some good friends right now, but I've never had a best friend. My grandmother was my best friend. My husband is currently my best friend. Outside of those intimate relationships, I don't know how to make a best friend. I never have. It's a challenge, you know. I meet people and like, oh, you know, we get along really great, you know, and I'll make plans and we'll go out together and we hang out, we'll have fun and everything else. But if I'm not the one making the plans, they never call me. They never call me for advice. They never call me because they need someone to talk to. They never, I mean, no one ever relies on me. You know, other than my husband, and then, you know, back in the day, my grandmother, because my grandmother and we kind of relied on each other. And I don't know what it is about me that seems off-putting to people. You know, people say, oh, you're really nice, you're sweet, oh, you're such a nice person, etc. But there's obviously something that's off-putting about me. I don't know what it is. No one will ever tell me. They might not even know how to quantify it or speak to it anyway. It might be not something that they can even put a finger on. But there's obviously something about me that's off-putting. And, you know, that bothers me sometimes, but there's not much I can do about it. Because unless I know what it is, I can't fix it. You know, I mean, I've done things over the years, you know, where I don't lay every single problem I have on people's shoulders if they ask me how I'm doing. I don't share every single detail of my life with them unless they ask me more pointed questions. I've learned to back off and things. I've learned some of the things that annoy people about me, and I've corrected them as best as I can, so that, you know, people will actually want to spend time with me. But obviously there's something else off-putting about me. You know, lately I've actually been dealing with some situational depression because my business has been really slow. And even though I just picked up a couple of new clients and work is going to start rolling in and things are going to actually start getting better financially going forward, I'm still not out of my funk yet, and so I'm not even happy about this. I should be ecstatic. I'm like, oh yes, new clients, yay! But I'm not. I'm just like, meh. You know, I mean, obviously I'm as professional as possible, and I'm making sure that I seem enthusiastic and that I go through, and I'm gonna do the best job I possibly can for each of these clients. Absolutely. You know, it's not like I'm gonna let my current funk affect my work. And then ultimately end up affecting my, my ability to continue getting work from these clients. But at the same time, on the inside, I'm like, usually I get really, really excited about video games. Like Sims 4 is coming out next month, and the end of the year, the expansion for World of Warcraft is coming out, and I've been doing the beta. And normally I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and everything, and I'm just, again, I'm like, meh. So, and then the news with Robin Williams, it's really hit me hard. It made me really, really sad because of the whole circumstance behind it and everything, and I can't even talk about it without tearing up and stuff. It just, he was such an influential person, and he made so many millions of people happy with what he did. His comedy, his movies, the stories I've been hearing about what he would do when he was like on the Today Show, and how he would introduce himself to every person behind the camera and shake people's hands, and the fact that he loved people so much, and he loved making other people happy. And he could never find it himself, and it's, I don't know why it makes me so sad, but it just does. Excuse me. But I guess at the end of the day, the message I want to share is, you know what? If you are feeling like that, talk to somebody. Reach out to somebody. Because you don't know. You might think no one else is going to care. You might think no one else is going to miss that you're gone. There's going to be somebody. So don't let the mental illness win. Find help, okay? I think it's as much as I can do today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos. I really do. You guys are awesome. I mean, I don't have a huge fan base, but those who are my fans, thank you so much. If you are a first-time viewer, thanks for watching. If you are enjoying my vlogs, please give them a thumbs up and share them. I really do appreciate getting other eyeballs on my videos. And then if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I appreciate every single one of my subscribers. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.